What's going on, guys? For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Ty, and today in this video, I'm going to be ranking every single Star Wars hero from worst to best. Now listen, I gotta give you guys some context here, okay? I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. If I had to give myself a rating, I'd say I'm like a 6.5, 7 out of 10 Star Wars fan, based off of how much I love the franchise, how much I know about the franchise. Now listen, before we get into this tier list, I need to set some ground rules. First of all, it's only going to be heroes from the Star Wars movies. It's not going to include anyone from the shows, because I haven't seen the Clone Wars. I haven't seen like most of the Disney Plus shows, honestly. So I honestly just said, you know what? Let's just avoid it as a whole. We're only talking about the movies. Second of all, I'm only including people that have actually contributed to the fight against Empire, against the First Order. Basically, characters that have actually showed some heroic effort. For example, someone like, I don't know, Shmi Skywalker, Anakin's mom. She's not going to be on this list. Like, yeah, she's a good character. She's neutral, but she hasn't really done anything to be a hero. Don't get me wrong. If you guys want to see, first of all, a villain tier list, and second of all, every single Star Wars character ever ranked tier list, let me know down below. But just today, we're just going to be doing the heroes. But listen, if you guys like this video, please sure to like and subscribe. And also, I just launched a Discord server just to talk movies. So if you guys are looking to talk movies somewhere, join us down in the description. Let's just jump right into this tier list, okay? As you guys can see here, we've got 4 tiers, A, B, C, and D. We are keeping things simple, and I've got 27 different heroes that I'm going to be diving into here today. And what am I going to be judging them based off of? Honestly, just how good I think they are as characters and how much I personally like them. Just like a nice mix in between. And we're kicking things off here with Anakin Skywalker, of course, before he turned evil, basically. I'm going to put him in the A category. I think there's pretty much no question about that, at least in my opinion. Just based off the eye test of being cool, Anakin's got to be in the A tier, right? I mean, he's just so sick. The long hair. Of course, the turn to evil. But his character arc, even before, you know, he actually turns into Darth Vader, is just so rich. His love for Padme and the way that he feels he's going to be the one to hurt her. I like how he's sort of being muffled by the Jedi Council and even by his master, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I understand that Hayden Christensen isn't exactly giving like an Oscar-worthy performance. I feel like the prequels just had really awkward acting and stuff, but I think that kind of adds to like the ironic charm and sort of just like the fantastical nature of Star Wars. Anakin is going to be going in A. Next up, we've got Cassian Andor, just based off Rogue One, because I have not seen Andor. He's going to be going in B. I think he's a super solid hero. That's the way that I see him. He will stop at nothing to try and stop the Empire and basically trying to destroy the Death Star, to deliver those plans as we see towards the end of the movie. I just think that he's so great in this. I love his relationship with Jyn Erso as well, and that final sacrifice when he's on that beach with Jyn. It's just so sad, man. I think Cassian's awesome. Diego Luna plays him really well, and he's a really great actor. Like, this is a good performance he's giving here. I think he's great. Next up's going to be BB-8. I think BB-8's a fun character. I think that all the gags, especially like the little lighter flick in The Force Awakens, is just so great. BB-8, in my opinion, might be my favorite droid. I know that might sound kind of crazy, but again, it's just my own opinion, especially from The Force Awakens. I just think that the comedic timing's great. Orange is my favorite color, so maybe I'm a bit biased, but I just absolutely love BB-8. Next up's going to be C-3PO. This is going to bother some people. I think C-3PO is extremely iconic. Going to be going in C. I feel like C-3PO can sometimes be a bit annoying and never really contributes that much. He's kind of just there to be R2-D2's sidekick. I get he's kind of like the comedic relief and that he's kind of like the punching bag for the group, regardless of what movie that he's in, because he's in like so many Star Wars movies. But I'm going to be honest, just not like the biggest C-3PO fan. I'm not putting him in D. I don't think he's a bad character. I think he's just fine. He's iconic, don't get me wrong, but I don't really love him. I don't naturally gravitate towards C-3PO, even though I do think he's pretty funny. Next up is going to be Chewbacca. Chewbacca's going to be going in B. Obviously, Han Solo's sidekick. I love the creature design of Chewbacca. Of course, it's been around for like 50 years, but you got to keep in mind, at some point in time, Chewbacca had to be crafted, of course, by George Lucas. So I think the voice acting, you know, his iconic sound, his roar is just so great. I think he's always a good time. Sort of like a Groot figure where he never actually has dialogue. You're not going to know what he's saying, but everyone around him understands what he's saying, and I always think that's pretty funny. And yeah, when he has to be the powerhouse character that's like ripping arms off, he can be. He's also a softie. He obviously cares about Leia and Luke and Han and everybody, so I really enjoy Chewbacca. Next up's going to be Wicket. Honestly, this pretty much just summarizes all the Ewoks, though. I'm going to put them towards the back of B. The Ewoks get way too much hate. I think they're super cute. They contributed towards the defeat of the Empire at the end of Return of the Jedi on the Battle of Endor. That's a loaded sentence. Jesus Christ, I'm such a nerd. But seriously, I think the Ewoks are funny. I like at the end when they're all celebrating, and the gag where they think C-3PO is their god is so funny to me. That's one of the funniest Star Wars jokes. When he starts floating and they're like, oh my god, this is our god. It's just great. It's just absolutely great. I really like the Ewoks. I almost like them more than Chewbacca, but I'm going to leave them here for now. Next up, we've got Finn. Finn's a weird one for me because I really want to love Finn. Finn in The Force Awakens, I think, is an A character. I'm not even joking when I say that, but I think I'm going to be putting him at the top of C because of the fact that if Finn, first of all, followed the path that he was on in The Force Awakens, I think it would have been great. Again, I love Finn in The Force Awakens. But when I look at The Last Jedi, he had his almost sacrificial moment until it got ruined by a character that we'll talk about in a little bit. Then in The Rise of Skywalker, it feels like he's just wandering around. He's like, Rey, I have to tell you something. Rey, I have to tell you something. And nothing ever comes of it. Making a bunch of dumb decisions, they really ruined his character. And I really love John Boyega, but it just pisses me off how much they destroyed this character. Because again, if we're talking just Force Awakens, you're going in A. I think that's awesome. The Stormtrooper turned potentially Jedi. So cool. But nope, instead we're going C. Next up is going to be Galen Erso. Listen, he's going to be going right here in the back of C. But honestly, I really like Galen Erso. Even though his character may not be anything too crazy. Mads Mikkelsen plays him, of course, which is always a positive. But I just like the idea that there was this engineer that worked on the Death Star who planted this seed in there for it to actually be taken down. Like this engineer. And as an engineer myself, I am an engineering student. I think that's pretty cool, honestly, and it pretty much goes against all the engineering code of ethics, but either way, that's really awesome. I love his character and the fact that he would have done anything to try to stop the Empire. Next up, we've got Han Solo. He's going to the top of A. I think there's pretty much no question about that. Harrison Ford just playing an absolutely iconic role here. I love the way that, first of all, he's just this slick bounty hunter. You don't want to mess with Han Solo, but he's also like the likable asshole type of character where he's almost like Tony Stark in the sense that even though he's kind of mean to everyone around him, he still cares about them, and at the end of the day, he's willing to do what he needs to do to try to save them, because again, he loves them. He does love them. I like his love triangle with, Luke and Leia, of course. I like his relationship with Chewie. I like his relationship with Lando. I like how he's basically always on the edge of his seat because of the fact that someone's always trying to come after him because he always owes somebody money. Next up is going to be Haldo. Haldo's going to be going in D. The Haldo maneuver, I'm a defender on the fact that it doesn't make sense and that it breaks the logic of Star Wars. There was no reason to withhold any information in The Last Jedi from Poe. If she just told Poe, hey, I know that you've been being kind of annoying, but this is our plan, it wouldn't have changed anything. I love Laura Dern, just to be clear. I think that she is phenomenal in every role she plays. I love her to death in Jurassic Park. Haldo's a horrible character. She is a horribly written character. Why would you basically lock up your own best captain, or best fighter, I guess you could say, Poe, who's super passionate about stopping the Empire, just because of this secret plan that you had? If you just told him, he would have known. She has limited screen time, but I think that she is a horrible character. Next up is going to be Jar Jar Binks. Absolutely horrible, god-awful character. Listen, I remember I watched The Phantom Menace for the first time like a couple of years ago, honestly. I didn't really grow up watching Star Wars necessarily, but I was like, you know what? This character's pretty bad, but I don't really understand why everyone dogs on him. Then time passed, and I was like, you know what? Maybe Jar Jar Binks isn't really that bad. I've rewatched the movie like 2 times since then. He just gets worse and worse on every single rewatch. Just so annoying, and I understand that his animation for the time was so incredible, but nothing about his accent or his jokes lands in this like serious political type of film. Doesn't make any sense. And I know it's just Star Wars, but seriously, like the way his jokes line up with the tone of every other character, it's so off-putting. It's so 1999 in the worst way possible. It just sucks. Next up is going to be Jyn Erso. She's going to be going in B. I really like Jyn Erso. I think she's going to be going right here towards the back of B. I think I might even move Cassian down, honestly, like right next to her. Because honestly, Cassian's not the most memorable character to me, just based off Rogue One. I think that Jyn, again, her father, of course, Galen Erso, she kind of wants to, I don't want to say avenge him, but of course he doesn't end up getting killed. So she wants to make it her life's mission, essentially, to stop the Empire, to get these plans, no matter what it costs, to Princess Leia. And of course, they pretty much have like a similar arc. I don't really say an arc, but at least this life path here where they're both just sacrificing their lives for the sake of the rebellion. And I absolutely love that. Next up is going to be K2SO. I think K2SO is going to be going right around here. Somewhere right around here. I feel like they should all just go right next to each other. Very funny. Super, super, super solid, good droid. Has its comedic moments. I believe Alan Tudyk plays him, unless I may be wrong. But either way, just the sacrifice. Again, I feel like all 3 of these characters just sacrifice so much for the rebellion, and I really like them for that reason. I mean, it's as simple as that. Next up is going to be Lando. Lando's an A character. I think I'm going to put Lando right here. For some reason, I just like resonate with Lando so much. I love when he cracks jokes. I love the fact that, first of all, you've also got the Childish Gambino version of him as like his younger self. A lot of swagger there, I feel like, that Childish Gambino brings, of course, Donald Glover. But then you've also got Billy D. Williams, and I've got to say, man, I think that he just has this swag to him. He really does. It's as simple as that. Lando's just this smooth-talking guy where he's sort of playing both sides at all times. I think he's just awesome. Next up's going to be Princess Leia. She's also going in A. I feel like there's no question about that. I think she's going to be going right towards the back of A. Really love Princess Leia. I just love how it feels like she just wants ever so badly to stop the Empire. She cares so much. She has a lot of weight on her shoulders because everyone kind of looks to her. She's kind of like the leader. She's the one that they look to for, plans. What are we going to do next, Princess Leia? It's all on her, I feel like, most of the time. So I think that Carrie Fisher obviously just gives an iconic performance. I love the look of her, of course, with that hair. So iconic as well. And yeah, Princess Leia is just a great character. Next up is going to be Luke Skywalker. This is going to be controversial. This might get my YouTube channel deleted. I'm going to put Luke Skywalker at the top of B, okay? I understand that Luke Skywalker is the face of arguably the most iconic franchise out there. But I personally just feel that Luke Skywalker is just a little bit bland. He's a little bit vanilla. I don't find him that interesting. When I look at other characters, and again, this is just personally, like Harry Potter, for example, I think Harry Potter is a much more interesting lead of a franchise than Luke Skywalker. I really like Luke Skywalker. He's at the top of B, but I don't think his arc is the most insane arc I've ever seen. I don't think that he's the funniest character in this franchise. I don't think he's the coolest character in this franchise. I don't think he's the most powerful. I feel like he's not the best at anything. For that reason, he's going to go towards the top of B. Next up, we've got Mace Windu. Mace Windu is going to be going like right here. I think that just seeing Samuel L. Jackson in Star Wars with a purple lightsaber because he requested it from George Lucas is just so cool. I love Mace Windu. I like the fact that his death, in a way, is one of the parts that added to Anakin's turn. Like when he's basically trying to stop Palpatine and Anakin pushes him right off that ledge, basically. That's it. He is donezo. Let's put it this way, okay? There's nothing cooler than Samuel L. Jackson in Star Wars. Next up is going to be Obi-Wan, baby. Obi-Wan is going to go like right here. I love Obi-Wan. First of all, of course, you've got Alec Guinness playing him in the original trilogy. I don't necessarily resonate with him as much in that trilogy because he has such little screen time, of course. He's in the first Star Wars, and then he just turns into the Force Ghost, of course, when he's fighting Darth Vader. But you get to see him a bit more fleshed out in the prequels. I don't think the prequels are the best movies ever, but I still think that his character is one of the best moments of them. Him and Anakin, when they're playing off of each other. Of course, I can't talk about Anakin when he's bad, but the way that he basically failed his Padawan, that's really powerful stuff. I mean, seriously, I just... God, man, Obi-Wan, Ewan McGregor is just putting on such a great performance as well. I love the fights that he has. His ability is great. And the way that he looks up to Qui-Gon, now he becomes the master with his own Padawan again with Anakin. It's just awesome stuff. Next up is going to be Padme. Padme's so awesome. I think I'm going to put her like right towards the top of B. I just think that Padme, maybe I'll put her like, no, I'm going to leave her right there, actually. I'm going to leave her right here. I just love Natalie Portman. Phenomenal actress. One of my favorite actresses for sure. And again, I understand the acting in that prequel era is like a bit awkward, but I think it adds to the tone. I love her relationship with Anakin. Even though some people say that like her conversations with Anakin are boring, also stupid with like, I don't like sand. I get it, but at the same time, I kind of just enjoy whenever she's on screen, and I like the fact that she's the motivation. Next up's going to be Poe Dameron. I think Poe Dameron is going to go in B, honestly. Like, call me crazy, I'm going to put him somewhere like right around here. I think that's a fine fit. Love Oscar Isaac. If this was just talking about The Force Awakens, the guy's going in A. But we're not. I feel like this is another character where he had so much going for him. Then they kind of just muzzled him, almost like how Anakin was muzzled by the Jedi Council in the prequels. They muzzled him in The Last Jedi. He had basically nothing to do. Then The Rise of Skywalker, he has, of course, two of the most awful lines ever where they fly now, and of course, somehow Palpatine returned. They really double put two nails in the coffin there. Pretty brutal for his character, honestly. I understand that it's the writing, but Oscar Isaac did the best that he could. I love Oscar, but Poe Dameron was so cool, man, with his jacket and him and Finn. They were like the buddy cop duo. It just all went to shit, some would say. Next up is going to be Kiara or Kira. I don't know how to say her name. She's going to be going towards the top of D. I love that Emilia Clarke's in Star Wars, but I honestly can barely remember what she does in Solo. If you don't leave like some type of lasting impact on me, I just can't really put you any higher, honestly. I feel like it would be unfair. Again, I love that Emilia Clarke is in Star Wars. She's a great actress. I don't hate this character in comparison to like these that I actually think have like negative flaws, but she doesn't really do anything for me. Next up's going to be Qui-Gon. Listen, this might sound disrespectful, but I'm going to put Qui-Gon towards the top of C. He has such little screen time, if we're being realistic here. He's in one movie, and also, I don't think The Phantom Menace is really that great of a film. He doesn't have too much to do. I like, the final battle, of course, with Darth Maul. I think that's such a great, epic moment, but I don't naturally resonate with Qui-Gon. I think that Liam Neeson, again, good performance, great actor. I love his look with the long hair, the green lightsaber, but at the same time, he's not like a character that I really think about often, if you know what I mean. I don't think he's like the coolest character ever. He's one of the better Jedi for sure, but I just really enjoy these characters a bit better. Next up's going to be R2-D2. I think R2-D2 is probably going to be going somewhere in B, right? Kind of on the same level as all these other droids. I'm going to put R2 like right around here, I would say. Right around here. I honestly like BB-8 better. Again, just personal preference. R2-D2, one of the most iconic characters ever, like in all of fiction. I mean, of course, in the Star Wars saga alone, he's one of the most iconic, but I think that R2, again, just kind of like a comedic punching bag. I like the fact that some people know what he's saying, some people don't, like C-3PO. I think that when you need him in the story, I like the way that they use him as a plot device occasionally, like when he's holding, of course, the plans that Leia gives to him. I just think that he's a good little character. He kind of gives us a little bit of different flavor in the Star Wars universe, especially because a lot of people are humans or aliens. He's just a robot. He's a droid, of course. And droids, the way they don't really get like any respect, but the fact that his kind of family, whether it's like Luke or Leia and Han, they all kind of respect him. They take him in. I really like that. Next up's going to be Rey. I'm going to put Rey like right here. I think that Rey, again, this is another scenario where The Force Awakens set her up for greatness. Then The Last Jedi and this Rise of Skywalker just really center down this dark, dark path. And I'm not talking about it in an Anakin way. I mean when it comes to the quality of your character. Rey, I love the idea that she's this character where she comes from nowhere. She doesn't know who her parents are. And that kind of shows, in a way, that greatness can come from anywhere. It reminds me of Ratatouille when they say, not everybody can cook, but a good cook can come from anywhere. Not everybody can be a Jedi, but a good Jedi can come from anywhere. That's what Rey was going to be. But I just found her character to be pretty bland, especially in The Last Jedi when she's just training with Luke, and it's kind of just referencing when he was training with Yoda on Dagobah. It's the same sequence. There isn't really much going on. We see some cool visions, I guess, but that's about it. Then The Rise of Skywalker, of course, we find out that she is a Skywalker, which completely undoes the arc that she was supposed to be from nowhere, which would have been a lot better because it means, you have this hope in you that no matter what your start is, you can always become some legendary, great figure. But no, actually, it's like a nepotism baby, and basically she's just a Palpatine. That's pretty stupid. Next up, we've got Rose Tico. This is the worst character in Star Wars, and I'm not even joking when I say that. I think that she's worse than Jar Jar Binks. I would rather deal with 2 hours of Jar Jar Binks in The Phantom Menace than watch Rose Tico and her actions. And there's one thing that she does that just bothers me. First of all, I like the start of her character, okay? I like the start of her character. The way that she has this sister and she gives her the necklace, I think that's nice. From there, she's just this clingy, annoying girlfriend to Finn. And then, in what, in my opinion, is one of the most offensive, if not the most offensive, annoying moments in Star Wars, Finn is about to sacrifice himself. And I don't like The Last Jedi, but I still think, you know what? That would have been a good way to send this character off. He sacrificed himself for everyone that he cares about, for this cause that he believes in. That's the most noble way that a character can die. For something they believe in, for everyone they love. Rose comes out of nowhere, saves him. He didn't even want to be saved, and gives him this awkward kiss that he didn't even want. Because they don't even have any love. There's no love between them. The Canto Bite sequence with all the casino stuff, where she basically just starts like preaching to the audience about like the rich people on Canto Bite and how they're like doing stuff to the animals. What are we doing here? What was the point of your character? It's not even like she just did nothing the whole movie. She actively made the movie worse by her own actions. Ridiculous character. Saw Gerrera, back of C, love Forrest Whitaker, not the most memorable character. I think that, I like that, he's with Jyn Erso. I like the way that he sort of contributes to, of course, the plans arriving at Princess Leia. Doesn't really do much, not super memorable. And we're going to kick things off now because I'm not fired up. I'm fired up now that I've talked about Rose Tico. We're going to kick it off with Yoda. Yoda's an A character. I'm going to put him right here, I would say. I think I'm going to put him right here. I'm going to move Lando right here. I think I like that. I like the way those characters look. Yoda, of course, he's the teacher. He's the almighty, wise professor, basically, of the Star Wars universe. I love the way that, he trains Luke. He teaches him right from wrong. I honestly like both the puppet Yoda and the CGI Yoda. I know that some people debate which ones they like. I think they're both good for their own time. I think that if we were still doing a puppet in the 2000s, it would have looked a little bit weird, but I also respect their pursuit of doing practical Yoda in the 70s and the 80s. I love Yoda, man. Yoda's great. The way that his voice, of course, the way he talks, just so awesome. And he's just a true hero. And I like that he's pretty much the only character that dies of, like, natural causes, basically, which is pretty funny. But, yeah, that's going to basically sum up all of my heroes. This is how I'd rank the Star Wars heroes. Maybe I change up some things, but honestly, at the end of the day, this is my list. But let me know what you guys think down below. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next video.